Hi everybody, Dave and Anne Marie here today, my wife and taste tester for the new recipe I've been telling you guys about. If you watch the channel, that I've been working on this bread recipe. It's a no knead, no rise, hearty, healthy, carrot raisin, whole grain bread. So anyway, I'm going to cut it and we're going to toast it and have some for bread. But let me give you guys a closer look at this. And I'll show you the inside too, because it's loaded with nuts and whole grains and raisins and carrots. Anyway, let me show you guys what it looks like. So there it is, beautiful whole grain hearty bread. Now look at that beautiful bread. Now that's the bottom side. So I bake it nice and slow so we keep that nice and brown but not burned. And so it cooks for about an hour and a half. And like I said, it's got some interesting ingredients, but it's very healthy, very hearty, and very delicious. Okay, so let's get into it and I'll show you how I made it. Okay, so let's get into it. Here I have some unbleached wheat flour, I have some old-fashioned oats, and I have some sprouted wheat berries. I just basically soaked these overnight. I have a cup of carrot grated, can of black beans. We're going to use a little salt, some molasses, and I have 1 tablespoon of chia seed that I ground up. Now I'm not sure if you're going to need the chia seed or not, but that's how I did it the first time I created this recipe, so I'm going to do it again the same way. Maybe next time I'll try it without. And we have raisins and walnuts. You can use any nuts. I'm going to probably use some pumpkin seeds in here as well. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to mix our dry ingredients together. And so the dry ingredients are going to be our oats and our flour, our chia seeds, and our salt. Now I wrote down on my recipe a teaspoon of salt, but I'm going to go about 3/4 of a teaspoon. And we're going to mix that up. And then I'm going to go and mix the wet ingredients. We're going to mix the wet ingredients and then we'll combine them. So just leave this over here for now. So what we want to do with the beans is we're going to take the whole can of beans and dump them into a metal bowl, and we're going to puree them with a hand blender, or you can puree them first and then put them in the bowl. So you want the liquid and everything, so it's just beans and salt and water in here, so we're going to use the broth that's in the beans as well. That's how I did it last time. Okay, and there's our beans. There's really not that much liquid in there anyway. Let me grab my hand blender. Okay, so I don't have enough cord on my hand blender to blend this in front of you guys, but I'm just going to use the hand blender and blend that up until it's smooth, and then I'm going to add 1 cup of water to that. So we also have 1 cup of water going in there. Now we'll add 1 tablespoon of molasses to that, and I probably should mix that in again with the hand blender. So that's what I'll do. Make sure you get all that molasses. It's just a tablespoon, but it does add a nice mild flavor. You don't really taste it as molasses, but this bread is really good. I really enjoyed this bread, and we love it. Toasted is the favorite way. Okay, and now we're going to mix everything together. So I'm going to start with the 3/4 of a cup of nuts. And I kind of broke these up with my hands. There's a mixture of walnuts and pumpkin seeds, about half and half. And I just kind of broke them up with my hands. So I'll mix those in with my dry ingredients. And now we'll mix in carrots, our wheat berries. Now these wheat berries are, you can see almost little tails starting on them. So they're just like soaked overnight, but kind of like sprouted a little bit. And we'll mix in this. And this is our wet ingredients. So just mix that all in. And it's going to be like a pretty firm dough. Well, you'll see in a second here. And just mix that all up really good. And the only thing we have left to add is our raisins, which I'm going to grab in a second here. And we're going to put 1/4 cup of raisins in here. I just want to mix this up first a little bit, so you guys can see how that mixes in. Just kind of make sure you get rid of all that white flour, or that flour. Make sure all that's absorbed. So it's not like a typical dough, although it will kind of thicken a little bit as we let it sit here a minute. So I'm going to get my 1/4 cup of raisins and add that in there. And I'm using golden raisins today, but you can use any kind. And I'm just going to wing it as far as 1/4 cup. But yeah, you can figure about 1/4 cup, maybe a little more. Maybe we'll go a little extra today because make it a little sweeter. And so let me mix this up, and then we'll grease up our bread pan, and then we'll get it in the oven. And we're going to bake this for about 70 minutes, about 1 hour and 10 minutes, but we're doing it at 220. And if you wanted to, you could bake this in glass jars and have it be canned bread. So you can bake it right in the glass jar and then put sterile lids on it before it cools off, and then you'd have a canned bread that could last for many years. But that's not what I'm doing, and so I can't tell you too much about that. And then yeah, so let me go get my pan ready, and we'll get it in the pan, get it in the oven. Okay, and here is my loaf pan, which I oiled it really good with coconut oil. And so we're just going to give it one final mix and then go right into the pan. Right. And this bread is very dense, and it's a beautiful, heavy, filling bread that sustains you for a long time. Got a lot of calories with all those nuts and seeds, whole grain oats and the wheat berries. Gives it a nice texture. I think you'll really like it if you give it a try. And so now I just kind of like spread this out so it's an even loaf. So it's not going to round up, it's not going to rise or anything. What it is what it is. Just make sure you oil that pan well. And you can just kind of even it out. And I think that's about it. So I'm going to get the oven preheated, and then we'll get this in. Okay, and I got it in my little Toshiba toaster oven, and it's at 220 degrees for 120 minutes. Okay, so it's been in there an hour, and I want to check it. Should be done. Sorry about the noise. My wife is giving a music lesson in the other room. But hopefully you guys can hear me okay. I'm just going to check and see how it feels. So basically you want it to feel firm when you push on it. Yeah, it still feels a little doughy, so I'm going to give it a little longer. I'm going to give it like another 10 minutes. Okay, so it's actually end up being about 1.5 hours, and I put it up to 225 the last 15 minutes or so. And now it feels nice and firm. It doesn't feel gooey or anything. And I think we're good. So I'm going to take it out and dump it out on a cooling rack. Okay, and there it is. It's kind of standing on its side right there. I wanted to show you guys the bottom. And the reason why I go at such a low temperature is so it gets nicely brown, but not burned at all. So now I'm going to sit it on its bottom and just let it stay out like that until I go to bed for, you know, a couple hours, few hours, and then I'll put it in the fridge and we'll cut it in 1/2-inch slices and toast it up for breakfast. And that's what it looks like on the top. Nice and hearty. And then we're going to toast some up and have it for breakfast. And this is the second time that I made this, and we both really loved it the first time. Right, hon?
It was delicious. Yeah, I can't wait. Yeah.
So anyway, and it's super easy to make. Okay, so I like to use a good bread knife and just cut it about a 1/2-inch thick. It stays together pretty well, but you got to cut it nice and slowly. And after you bake this bread, make sure you cool it all the way before putting it in the refrigerator. I put it in a Ziploc in a refrigerator last night after we baked it. And you can see it's loaded with whole grains and nuts and raisins and whole wheat berries. So look at that beautiful bread. Anyway, this is a very dense, hearty, tasty carrot raisin whole grain bread that's easy to make and is delicious and nutritious, and we love it. So this is my second time making it. I created the recipe myself, and I hope you guys give it a try, and I hope you like it. We're going to go ahead and dig into this. So you can have this with, my wife likes it with margarine. I'm going to put coconut oil on mine, but you can have it with whatever butter, coconut oil, margarine, peanut butter. I'm going to dig into this right now. And there it is. What do you think, hon?
This is the best so far. This is definitely the best so far.
Well, thank you.
Yep. It's perfect.
So thanks everybody for watching. Hope you're all doing well, and we'll catch you again soon in another video. Remember, take care of yourself, take care of each other, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.